What's up guys, Skorge here, and just a quick warning that this video will contain spoilers and plot points and everything else for Gears of War 4. Enjoy!
Right. So Gears of War 4 is set 25 years after the events of Gears of War 3. For 15 years after the Locust defeat, Sarah was engulfed in flames. The survivors of the war against the Locust horde huddled in masses in walled cities around the city to protect themselves from hurricane-force gales. The inspiration for the setting of Gears of War 4 was Italy's Dolomite mountain range, a favourite spot of Rod Ferguson's, and he used the surrounding forest for inspiration. The main city was inspired by Palmanova, a late Renaissance town. The whole production crew of Gears of War 4 went to Italy to research some of the locations that would be used in the game. So after the events of Gears of War 3, the human population was reduced to only a few 100,000. Rod Ferguson stated he did not want to continue immediately after Gears of War 3 due to turning out the same setting and the cast of the Gears of War trilogy. So now a bit of information about the setting leading up to Gears of War 4. So at the end of Gears of War 3, we've got Adam setting off his machine which destroyed all the locusts in the Lambent, but it inadvertently destroyed all of Sarah's fossil fuels, which leaves the remaining civilians searching for resources, all under a new COG banner. The COG moved the stranded into the walled cities for protection against Sarah's environment. Now here's where things get quite interesting. So you've got the COG who are moving all the stranded into these walled-in cities for their protection, but some of the stranded disagree with the COG's approach. So they create their own faction of society called the Outsiders. Now the Outsiders, to gain resources, raid COG settlements, which obviously causes tension between them. The Outsiders want a free life and not to be ruled by the overprotecting COG. So we know that the game itself is based on events that occur in just one full day, which is 26 hours on Sarah. And it involves three main characters. We will learn why JD and Marcus are estranged during the course of Gears of War 4. We know that JD was a lieutenant and obviously best friends with Del. They did everything together, and when JD went AWOL and joined the Outsiders, so did Del. Kate, the third player which we have recently heard about, was born as an outsider and has never experienced COG life. She's a survivalist. Her mother is the outsider leader named Raina. She obviously does not trust any COGs, and when JD and Del come into the mix, she's very wary. But shortly, the three become best friends, but the bond is tested when the outsider village is invaded by a mysterious force, and everyone there is kidnapped and dragged into the forest. The three team up to discover the truth behind the kidnapping and why they were spared. Also important to note here, the campaign for Gears of War 4 is only 2-player co-op. So as the trio follow into the woods, they meet the pods as we saw in the E3 trailer when JD pokes it with his Lancer. Soon one explodes and a pale white monster lunges towards them. The trio name these Juvies. They are called this because they are the first evolutionary stage of a new army called the Swarm. Juvies are the old Gears of War equivalent to the Wretches, fast-moving, melee-based creatures that travel in packs. Over time, if they're not killed, it will evolve into the next stage. Their skin hardens and they learn how to use weapons, much like the Ragers from Gears of War Judgment. This stage of evolution is called the Drone, due to its resemblance of the Locust drone. The drone will be the main enemy variant throughout Gears of War 4. Another new enemy variant that was showcased at E3 is the Pouncer, a giant mole rat-esque creature. Now let's move on to the weapons. A new weapon is called the Drop Shot, an explosive charge attached to a drill, much replacing the Digger from Gears of War 3. Also, the Mantle Kick is now back, and a new combat knife ensures a messy close quarter combat. Players can pull enemies over cover now before gutting them. Players are now able to sprint and shoulder barge the enemy to disable them and then use the knife to finish them off. As you continue into Gears of War 4, the trio search the old Locust burial grounds to search for clues to the Swarm's sudden appearance. Sarah's weather has become violent and damaging. The team find themselves pinned by a cyclone of lightning and dust known as wind flares. The wind also affects enemy and players and can alter the shape of any encounter and offer strategic routes. The Gears of War 4 production team hope this isn't the last Gears of War game that they make. Just to add that all of this is from the single player storyline and nothing has been confirmed for the multiplayer. All of the information provided in this video has come from Gaming Informer, so obviously I'm using their story and the images under fair use, and if you want to go and pick up a copy, I highly suggest you do so to read it all for yourselves.
Okay then guys, that's it for today. But if you like this video, please leave me a thumbs up. Talk to me about this video or anything else Gears related in the comments section below. And make sure you sub to my channel to make sure you never miss anything that I post.